They're not different from the bandits who take over your farm, harvest, and then actually come and buy back some of the goods from your farm that they illegally hijacked. So if nobody voted for you, or you went and borrowed money from a bank, or you have a godfather who make you governor, why would you care the cost of governance? There was a governor one time, I think it was governor of Anambra State, they call him 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. I think it's Obiano. He said, this is openly, he said he has over 215 policemen guarding him. Divide 215 policemen by cars. So let's say an average of
2 in a vehicle.
How many vehicles would you be driving around? In a state that don't even have roads. Then you have to buy petrol. You have to pay them special rates. Sometimes they will drive all the way from Anambra to Lagos to come attend the party. They will drive back again. The governor will fly a private jet. So nobody is even taking into consideration some of the hidden costs of governance, including, say, for my state. Now, my governor has been away in hospital for only God knows how long, Ondo State. This, I'm sure, is the state that's paying for his medical treatment. And those things are not cheap. The president of Nigeria was away for 100 and something days during his first term, I think. And they parked the jets. And we went and did the research on the cost of parking jets in the European Union. It's 5,000 euros per night.
The maintenance of the airport.
I've not talked about the maintenance. Think about the presidential jet now. The presidential jet has not been in Nigeria since Tinubu came to power. They are fixing it. Maybe they are upgrading it or retrofitting it to suit his own medical needs. We don't know. But that's going to cost a lot of money, and nobody's going to tell you how much it costs. But it is not that we are talking about cost. It's the fact that, do we even have government in the first place? Or people who are in government who are just lavishing on themselves the resources of the people? We are talking about where we are now. Minimum wage is 30,000 naira. When it was 30,000 naira, what was the value of the naira? Maybe around 400 naira to $1. 300 and something, as a matter of fact, or even less. Now we are 890 yesterday. Your minimum wage is still 30,000 naira. How much is that in dollars? Right? It's not up to $100 a month. So, how do you send your children to school? Let's assume you are feeding on 1,000 naira per day as a minimum wage earner. At the end of the month, your wage
the minimum wage has gone on feeding.
So what about housing? What about medicals? Because I don't know, so many Nigerian workers don't have medical insurance. I don't think there is. They said there's somewhere. I don't know if it works. How about sending your children to school? Are you getting my point? How about doing repairs? How about some kind of social?
You have responsibilities that depend.
So you cannot earn a minimum wage in Nigeria and even go on vacation in your village. So, and these are the things that makes up for the dignity of a worker. But we are in a hurry to increase prices of gasoline, petrol. You don't have to think about that. But to increase minimum wage, you have to hold meetings that will last for a year. And then after we decide on the amount, some governors will say, no, we are not paying. In Kogi State, I think they were paying 5,000 naira for a long time, and people weren't even getting it. Some states, they use deductions as a way of not paying minimum wage. And when I came in 2019, I proposed minimum wage of 100,000 then. The people who were supposed to receive the money said that my proposal will lead to inflation. They were mocking us. By 2023, I proposed 250,000 naira as minimum wage. Even that, in my view, will not be suffice for a lot of workers, because we are dealing with the exchange rate, we are dealing with the cost of living, rate of inflation, and the African dependency syndrome you are talking about. Because if you earn, even if you are earning 10,000 in this country, you have somebody who depends on you. It's the way it works, because over 130 million of our people are earning less than $1 per day. It is not even true to say we are earning less than $1 per day, because if you are earning $1 per day, that means you have $30 in a month. I don't know of any Nigerian that can boast of 30,000 naira. At least a huge number of Nigerians, $30 a month. If there's $30 a month in Nigeria for an average person, we won't be here complaining now. But it's not even true. I know of people who probably may not even have $1 in a week, which is this 860 naira. And some of them work very hard. In fact, the harder you work here, the less you get in terms of wage.
Comrade Sowore,
yes.
What would you have done differently? There's been a lot of decisions that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have taken in the last 60 days plus that he's been president. The official removal of the subsidy, which I've read a few of your opinions about. And of course, the whole issue of the tax hit, the increment in rates. What would you have done differently? This government promised to hit the ground running. Have we gotten that in context?
The government said they will hit the ground running, but they ended up hitting the ground to ground the people. That's where we are. The people are grounded. I would never have removed fuel subsidy, or what they call the people who steal subsidy money. And everybody that I know in government agrees that former governor of, I think, Bauchi State is receiving subsidy claims. And he said, I'm tired of president. So he went and prevailed on the president to take away that money because it's too much for them. Secondly, is that people don't pay attention to this, but Buhari, as of about 6-7 months ago, gave a contract for the repair of 2 major refineries. I think Port Harcourt and Warri, and they told us that they will be ready. They also told you, not me because they can't fool me, that the Dangote refinery will start working by July, and when it comes on stream, it will help with reducing the cost of gasoline. Dangote refinery has not produced 1 sachet of pure water. Refinery. If we don't have something wrong with us, how do you help somebody build a refinery when you can't repair 4 of your own? If you repair 4 refineries, there's no way, even if we are saving 10 naira per liter, that it will not be better than the situation that we are in today. And then we can subsidize the rest. There's nothing wrong with subsidizing poor people. It's their country. It's a means of supporting, institutions and businesses that may not be able to meet up to, the profit-oriented capitalism that's on a daily basis to go and fight wars that have nothing to do with them. When Bin Laden, they said, hit the towers, all the airline companies in the country were safe. And we subsidize the rich in this country. So what is wrong with subsidizing the poor? Yesterday, AMCON, that is the organ set up to take care of the debt of, the rich, said over 5 trillion naira had been given as toxic loans to the rich, and they have only been able to recover 1.6 trillion naira since they've been in existence. So how much do we need to subsidize the poor that is so serious people, and they have 5.4 trillion naira and they refuse to pay? Their reckless lives. They're stealing subsidy, they're getting contracts. Why can't we subsidize the poor? Through this moment they remove fuel subsidy, we entered into a recession that they have not confessed to. So that's the truth. So these are facts that are there, and that is why I said there are questions I don't answer anymore. If I go to a TV station or radio station, you ask me, why don't you go and contest for a lower position? I will carry my things and leave, because it's just like an insult to ask decent Nigerians, brilliant Nigerians, people who have exposure, who have capacity, character, to go for lesser positions. Why the people who lack all of these basic things or tenets of leadership are promoted all the time over and above the best amongst us? So we must change that, and that is the reason why I went to detention 4 years ago. By tomorrow, it will be 4 years that revolution now hits the streets of Nigeria. On that day, 5 million people went online to search for the meaning of revolution. Some of them disagreed. by this year, 2023, after the election, Revolution Now was trending. Because finally, it's hitting home that we need one. And badly too.
Well, I've been speaking with the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress. Keep your messages coming in on our social media platforms. Well, we've been graciously extended, so we have a few more minutes to engage the callers at 0913-600-0410. I would want to specially appeal to you when you're joining the conversation. Please just leave all of the pleasantries, just go straight to the point, your name and your question, and let's just have it. I want to try and pick as much calls as we can pick, and keep dropping your messages on Facebook and on YouTube. Well, it's been Comrade Omoyele Sowore live in the studio in the Situation Room. It's a Friday edition. It's a special edition. I mean, I had to beg you guys that I had to allow to bring a guest on the show today, because usually on Fridays it's open mic. You know, we just have to allow the people express themselves. So, Comrade Sowore, I talked about a lot of things, but before we allow you start calling now, going forward, you've talked about the challenges we have in an electoral system, where the people that organize the election, in your own understanding, are probably being funded by the same people that want to use them for certain purposes. How do we make progress from here? In February last year, there was a review on the electoral law that brought about the electronic transmission of results, all of these changes. What do we need to fix? Institutions or the mindset of the people going into election, Comrade Sowore?
We need to fix everything. We need a reset, complete reset. The institutions that are in Nigeria today, they are atrophied. They can live up to and they can address the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerian people. And the people the institutions keep throwing up, the mediocre people who run these institutions, also don't hide the fact that they are not interested in what you and I want. That's if we want the same thing. So what are you left with? A reset. This is, we will go round and round over these issues. And sometimes, it's always the big elephant in the room. Like, we can say, we just don't want to say what's the truth. Even these days, you get turned off from radio and TV because it's as if particularly TV, they keep bringing back the same social commentators who say the same thing over and above, over and over again. And the more they say things that don't make sense, the more they come back and pollute the air. So I'm saying that it's up to the Nigerian people. I don't think that we should engage in what I call analysis paralysis, because we are very good at analyzing our problems, and it paralyzes us. The moment you say it's like okay, this one doesn't have solution, and that's why most Nigerians belch shout that word, only God can help us, because it's beyond their ability to comprehend and deal with, because there's fear, and people are always looking at it. A lot of people ask the question, and they ask me this question: is it worth it? Or why don't you just wait until it's your turn, do what you got to do, or just get out, jackpot? But the question that people should ask themselves is: the place you are going to, the place you jackpot to, if everybody also jackpot from the place, how would you have been able to go there? If Canadians left their country and he has no roads, he has no electricity, would you go there? If the Americans left their country and moved to another place, and the place is in turmoil and is handled by bandits, terrorists, kidnappers, and political buccaneers, would you go there? That's the question. These are hard questions, but they are hard questions to ask people who have, in some ways, even sometimes tried. Look at think about what must have happened to all the honest civil servants in this country who never stole, and then when they retire, they have to go and borrow money from the guys who used to steal in the same office, because they said, and those are the people that Nigeria think are smart people. So it can be very, very complex or complicated, but when you reach a point like this of no return, you do what is right by your conscience, and that's you turn around or reset and say, enough is enough. Because even for those who are profiting from the system, they also don't really enjoy it, because I've looked at the history of rich people in Nigeria, like Nigerians like to say, most of them also don't die well. Because somehow the poor is always after them. They have to carry the poor with them everywhere they go. If there's another new city today after Aja, right, and all the rich people start going there, all like, what's that place called? Atlantic, Eco Atlantic. Very soon, poor people will go with the rich people there because they will need them as gardeners, gatemen. Nigerian rich people can't do anything for themselves, and the place will become another junkyard. It will become another ghetto, and then we'll start running until maybe the Atlantic Ocean will come and carry everybody. It's not funny, but this is how reality. Best I can describe how. But I think we're at a critical junction where people have to look back and stop looking for short-term solutions or shortcuts. And what is shortcut? Shortcut sometimes is looking for messiahs. Just hoping that one guy will come and just fix everything. It has to be all of us. Because even your messiah must understand that the people he's saving are non-nonsense people. Otherwise, the messiah might go to sleep.
Okay, let's allow the people to join the conversation. 0913-600-04 2019 and the 2023 general elections, and he's actually spoken about a lot of things: our political system, our mindset, and from his conclusion, you can always see that well, he says Nigeria needs to go back to reset. What do you think of that? 0913-600-0410. Keep your messages coming in on Facebook, and of course our direct messages. Let me have you. Hello, good evening.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. Good to have you join us on the show.
I'm good for Sowore. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome from the election. I'm Joshua. I'm calling you from my daddy.
Joshua, you're welcome.
The way forward. Since you have all this brilliant mind, what is the way forward? Because according to the analysis, Nigeria is grounded already. So what is the way forward? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Straight to the point. We'll just take a couple of these questions, and our Comrade will respond to them as we go on the show. More calls. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, my lovely brother in the house.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Tumde from Akinyode.
You're welcome.
Sowore, Almighty God will bless you. You said something which I really like. You said, how do we want to reset ourselves now? Because most of the rich people, certain politicians, they are the ones using youth. And when we are outside, we are discussing, we want to reset the brain of the people. They will say that they are depressed. And we are tired of the idea. In fact, Almighty God will bless. I know that one day you achieve your aim, because I'm tired of the way things are going on in this country. How can we do this thing? Because most of the young people now, they don't have jobs. And the way we are telling them, let us do the right thing at the right time. But they follow these rich people, and they use money, power, connection to convert a lot of people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Keep the calls coming in. We've got loads of messages to read. I will respond to some of these messages also. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you for joining us on the show today. Your name and where you calling from?
Great, man.
Yeah, I just want to ask you some three questions.
Your name and where you calling from?
I'm not saying from myself. From myself. Yeah, my question is that I want to ask you, do you receive party money from federal government? Maybe we heard that maybe they normally give people, all political party money to campaign. Yes or no?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Then how did you get your money to campaign? Then number 3, how can you mobilize more revolution team? Number 4, do you think you can get to this power just like the way you limit yourself by not joining more party together? Because the way we are looking at it, they don't want the truth and honest people to become our president. We can see what happened here now, this very year, that when we want to vote for our desired person, they refuse. And we want to fight this government the way they are running this country.
Thank you.
Look at all what you have been analyzing.
Thank you very much. I would respond. Okay, let me read some messages. Okay, apologies. I will need to suspend the calls for now. Let me read messages. This is Onyekachi is texting, and he says, the more I listen to people like Sowore, I weep for Nigeria for being ruled by the wrong leaders instead of cerebral people of his kind. My prayer is for God to miraculously break all barriers and mergers. Okay, Obi. Okay, that's your message there. Look, we're operating two constitutions in this country. One is visible while the other is invincible. Why the invincible one is that the one that is killing the country and the economy. I pray that the Almighty God will save us in this country. Sam from Alagbado. Okay, this is Femi from Ikoda, and it says, God bless your guest today. He has spoken exceptionally well. I voted him in the last election, and I remember telling my friends, and I hope they voted also. Okay. There's almost no way we would find out if they actually, but thank you very much, Afemi from Ikoro. This one is Festus from Badagry. Big shout out to your guest. He has spoken exceptionally well, but I want to ask him a question. Is it true he campaigned for Buhari in 2019? Okay, I'm sure my guest had noted that particular question. Thank you very much. All the way from Badagry. On Facebook also, let's keep dropping our messages. Aliu Abdurrahim on Facebook says, welcome my man Sowore. Okay, thank you for bringing in Mr. Sowore, the man I can't stop loving simply because he always says the truth. We'll continue pushing until Nigerians believe in us. Thank you. ABR Gom just says, I remember when Sowore came to Jos and you made your point to be sincere. I love your perspective of Nigeria and now you're courageous enough to speak of the heels of the government. I remember then I made my choice of either Peter or Omoyele Sowore. Good evening. Agombo and Jos all the way from Jos, Plateau State Capital. Thank you. Abejide Adewumi says, I love Comrade Sowore as a person, but if he had been serious about his political career, he will have started from the grassroots. Obviously, he may not get the seat if he refused to contest from his constituency first before contesting for the apex seat in the corridor of Nigerian politics. University politics experience is not enough to be the president of Nigeria. That is Abejide from Alagbado. Okay, keep your calls coming in as well. Let me talk to Prince Wise. Hello, good evening.
Thank you for picking my call.
Prince Wise, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. My greeting to your guest in the studio. Sowore, I'm greeting you.
Good evening. How are you, Prince Wise?
I'm very okay, my dear.
Thank you.
You see, you are a firebrand politician, a person I love much. I want to throw a question to you. You run for presidency the other time around. Nigeria did not vote for you. But I want you to go to your constituency. Your constituency is National Assembly. Because if a party can't finance, have a huge amount of money to win a president election in Nigeria, is very difficult. Even though in the United States of America. But somebody like you, who can defend the masses, who is ready to fight for the masses, revolution in your blood, your place as of now is in either state assembly or national assembly. Even the majority of Nigeria did not, your party don't have the grassroots.
Thank you, Prince Wise. Thank you. Okay, apologies. I thought you were done. Please, I'll appeal to every one of us to help us make this as brief as we can. We also have messages to read on our YouTube page. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Gopai.
You're welcome.
My name is Lawat. I'm calling from Sowore.
Good to have you today on the show.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, sir. Patients, they have killed everywhere. Even with my little knowledge, my brother, I fight. When we are growing up, I know what to listen to. I know how things was. But today, my brother, that is dead. This very issue, the crisis will start for the fight before fight. But today, when do we hear? Everybody join them. So I don't know where to go from here. We will continue educating our people. God willing, good for all of us. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. More calls. Hello, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Thank you. Comrade, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you, Comrade?
Hi, thank you.
Thank you.
Please, I have a question.
Is that Don Peters?
Yes,
okay.
My name is Don Peters.
You're welcome.
Thank you. My question to Comrade is this. Comrade, during the PDP era, when things were a bit better, you are all over the place with your media machinery, exposing a lot of things to Nigerians. And bag of rice was 7,009, and the dollar was 176, and Nigeria was the fastest growing economy during that period. But now, it seems to me you pipe low. Why did you pipe low now that we need you most? Right now, a dollar is above 700. We are the world capital of poverty. Now we are buying a liter of fuel for 700, 600 in some places, as the case may be. It seems to me you pipe a bit low with your media and everything and all your capacity. It seems to me that you pipe low. So why did you pipe low now that Nigeria need you most?
Thank you.
That's my question to you.
Thank you very much, Don Peters. I don't know if you want to respond to some of these questions or we just keep.
Well, I can respond to him.
Please go.
I don't know where he got the impression that I piped low. I have been very clear that this is one of the worst periods in our lives and that Nigerians must resist this. I participated in a protest 3 days ago. Does that sound like somebody who piped low? I was part of the labor protest in Lagos 3 days ago, even though I wasn't satisfied with the participation. I think the question should be, why are Nigerians piping low at this time when all of us should be working together, moving together, rising together, and not falling? That's the question. Nobody should assign to any particular person, the duty to not pipe low. You understand? Every one of us that is suffering should stand up now, and nobody should be an exception. The same answer goes to people who say, "Oh, go and show off." I don't want to be answering this question anymore. I told you.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and show your skills at the National Assembly? Have you not been watching the National Assembly in the last few days? If I was there, I'm sure you'll be stoning me by now. Exactly. And if I was in that room and I was trying to show off, they would shut me down. That is not what should be coming out of our mouth. That the best of us should go and be doing debating society and be asking people who are criminals appointed as minister to bow and go. Somebody even said that our party is not popular. Some of them I know are people who voted for the Labour Party. I can say that without equivocation. Why are you not asking your senators that you sent to the National Assembly? Where are they? What about your lawmakers that you sent to the National Assembly? At least the Labour Party has almost 6 senators.
Yeah, and they have over 40 reps members.
Yes. This is the Labour Party that some of them said, this is for now, Sowore, go and sit down. Some of them even asked me to join Labour Party in the last election. You have 6 senators. Why is it that they are piping low?
It looks like the word piping low is taking off on my show today.
It is an interesting question, but we must also answer it in a way that shows clearly that there's no animosity. Because some of these questions are coming from a place of pain from people. It's not as if they want to deride you, but that's how best they think they can express themselves. It's part of the frustration in the system. But my call is that everybody don't need to pipe low, and nobody should wait and expect other people. Because I said it during the election. I said, I know before election, they said, Sowore, go to local government. But now that there's national problem, you ask me to come and answer and handle national problems. But when it's time for election, you say I should go to local government.
Okay, more messages. I love Comrade Sowore as a person. Okay, that was a quick one. We already took that on Facebook already. This one, still texting, and it says, may the wisdom of your guest continue to grow with his age. I met him sometimes in Lagos a few months ago, and he looks happy and healthy. I hope he becomes the president one of these days. Well, talking about healthy, I followed what you do. I don't know how you have enough time to take care of yourself that much. Your workouts, your routine. It's quite impressive. I must just quickly put that in. Let's go back to the phone line. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Good evening, Mr. Fuad.
No, this is Opeyemi.
Mr. Opeyemi, I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
Good evening. My name is Comrade from Ejigbo.
Okay.
Thank you. I greet Comrade Omoyele Sowore very well.
Thank you, Comrade.
Honestly, in fact, I love to hear from him. Now, you see, he is one of the controversial candidates that came out in 2015 that convinced me that if truly Bola Tinubu is a good Yoruba man, rather for him to go and support Mola. This is Omoyele Sowore that came out in 2015. You did not support him. But now, you are now asking people to come and be rescuing you from what? In fact, Baba Omoyele, when you are starting your revolution now, tell us now, because you are the one that can save us or rescue us from this mess we are. We are not intelligent as you. In fact, some lawyers are not intelligent as you. They are just wearing suits, coat up and down. Thank you, Jare.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Comrade Sowore, let me quickly seek your opinion about the choice of the ministerial nominees. And this is what I'm saying. About 15 former governors and deputy governors. We have 7 senators that have to resign from the Senate. The former governor, the immediate past governor of Ebonyi State, had to be withdrawn from the Senate to come serve as minister. The immediate past governor of Rivers State, despite the fact that he's not a member of the APC, had done his issues and is in there. The choice that we have, despite the fact that we have to wait for about 60 days to have this name, is this the best food we can put forward at this crucial time we have in our country, Comrade Sowore?
How do you even start to ask about the choice of ministers when you couldn't choose the right president? That's where it started from. So you've chosen a president that's not the right one for you. And it's his duty to choose his ministers. His prerogative. So he chooses whomever he wants. The complaint is too late now. If you want great ministers, choose a bright president. Choose a competent president. Choose a healthy president, mentally, physically. I often make this caveat. Anybody can be sick. Tomorrow, I might be like good with exercising. Something could happen to me tomorrow. I don't know what goes on in our bodies. I don't have control over them. But at least know that the person can do what they are set to do, because it's grueling to run Nigeria or to run any place at all, including local governments. That's why sometimes I also inversely thank people who said, if you see me competent for local government, that means you see something good about me. So, but my own is not to waste my time trying to critique who is made people who can work like with them as ministers. And it has to mean that those people have the same characteristics. Renewed shege.
Okay, on YouTube, Akinyode Kabir is saying, good evening. What is the perception?
Good evening.
Good to have you join us. Please put up the volume of your radio set, or you move away from it completely.
I have office.
Your name and where you calling from?
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you, my brother?
Your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Logi from Yanakpaja.
Okay.
The truth of the matter, I wanted not to call. I want to really listen. But some people call it, they make me piss off. I don't know whether you watch Kenya president, the way the guy was speaking.
Yes.
Everybody enjoyed the guy who was speaking. Look at your president. See how he was speaking.
Your president, not my own, no, I beg.
Okay. Okay, let's see what he's speaking. You will like him. There's somebody carrying photo call that somebody should go to Castle. When it's better that this is here. That is the mindset they have planned. That person that I call is an elderly person.
Lawrence, let me take this off you. I would really appreciate if you respect the opinion of the caller. I understand you may totally disagree with it, but let's respect it.
No, yes, I said, but it get me angry. Maybe they put that mindset in us. When are we going to change? How can we say that someone who know how to do the job, who is educated, who is exposed, should be at the back seat? They really need to be in the front. Are we going back? Please. We should create that mindset from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Someone is saying that, good evening, Sowore. Please join a popular party. We need you as a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Okay? Ambassador Musba.
Opeyemi.
You're welcome.
My brother, friend, Sowore, how are you?
Thank you, Ambassador. I hope you're a real ambassador. Just joking.
Opeyemi, you know, sometimes you have said something now. The other day we were with saying I asked you that why can't you go to the national and just play on? What you're explaining now could have been better for me. Now, you know, I know that there will be the one to torture the yes, I'm not that, but to me, you shouldn't be in a hurry. You see, here you see on your side. Your ambition will come through to rule this country. I agree with you. But sometimes those who are calling on you now, more than obedient, why can't you just shun that and go with your way and that's why you contest? To me, I mean, part of time, don't keep pushing. That I know, your dream for Nigerians will be realized sometime.
Thank you.
And people so believe in it. So we are involved.
Thank you very much.
We often say we're the guy, we're not involved.
Thank you, Ambassador Musbah. Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today. Your name, where are you calling from?
Ajibola calling from Mikola.
Ajibola, you're welcome.
So please, I really appreciate one thing that Mr. Sowore says here. Comrade Sowore, please. He said something that we have issues with government. We don't have any government in this country. Assuming we have government, then we can be talking of cost of governance. Somebody imposing himself as a president or as a governor or as a councillor, then that's not a president, that's not a government. If there is imposter and we continue like that, then there is no government. That's the fact. And secondly, say something about education. Education is not about the world of classrooms. We have too much illiterate in this country, and which are not ready to make this nation forward. I'm very sorry to say this. There are incompetent leaders that are in our society, all over, from the top to the bottom, and we have nobody that can say the intellectual cost or implication on the nation. I'm sorry for this nation. Thanks for some people that are still brilliant in this nation. Thank you, Comrade.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation. 0913-600-0410. You're still live on Mila 98.3 FM. It's the Situation Room. It's a special Friday edition. And I'm having the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Comrade Omoyele, with me live in the studio. We've been talking for over an hour now. We're gradually coasting to the end of the program, but more calls and more messages. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Opeyemi.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
How are you doing, my brother? I'm from Malaba.
You're welcome.
Comrade, good evening, sir. You have done very well.
Thank you very much.
Honestly, I've been listening to you on several platforms. Honestly, you are just very great. This country does not really need people that are very honest. We always like to worship and celebrate, in fact, idiotic fellows.
Okay, that's a word I want you to take back. We've always had that smooth conversation here. No foul languages on my show.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm apology for that. This is that we are in the hand of unrepentant conquerors that have already conquered this country. In fact, the point. Now the fact is this: if we are truly, in fact, trapped, and we are being being hampered by these people, we need total restructure. How do we go about it, Mr. Comrade? How do we, Mr. Omoyele, how do we go about it? Because everyone is afraid. People are tired, but who will step out? How do we take back our country from these people? Your move. How do we actually, what did they say we are taking to have it from grassroots, for all of us to join, fight collectively, and take back what belongs to us? That's my take. Good evening.
Thank you very much for joining the conversation. 0913-600-0410. We have just about 4-5 minutes to wrap up the conversation on the show today, and I know that Comrade would still like to say one or two things before we call it today. So let me pick one call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today. Your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Larry. I'm calling from Command.
Larry from Command. Okay, you have the floor. 1 minute.
Okay, thank you for having me. See, my question is, if we Nigerians want to come together to vote for the right person, how can we go about this when the system is not really working to the Nigerian satisfaction? Because to me, I feel that there are certain leaders who always decide that this is the person we want to bring in as our president. So even if we Nigerians, we say, okay, fine, this is who we want to vote for, this is who we choose as our president. If we choose Sowore as our president now, they will not still allow him to enter into the seat. Instead, they will still decide who they feel that will be the president. So what do we do in that case? How can we go about it? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I always ask a question to every of my guests in the that joins us political conversation. Comrade Omoyele, I know you've engaged a lot of Nigerians. You've actually spoken to people, both around the ones that don't particularly align with your ideology and all of that. What is the most painful statement you've heard the Nigerians say that tells you about the failure of government, and you've seen it in the face of these people? I always ask this same question.
The frequent call on God to intervene is the most painful one. He must hurt God too, to be badgered every day. You know what I mean? If you are God and you created a country, put gold, silver, oil, clean water there, you put everything you can imagine, and they keep calling on you. If you are like a father in a house and you provide your children with the best education, you buy them clothes, sometimes you take them on vacation when they need to, and they keep disgracing you, you as a father, you want to take a vacation from them too.
So God cannot take vacation from us, please.
It's obvious that God doesn't listen very much to us. Otherwise, the amount of supplication we do on Sundays alone could have changed our highways and everything. So I'm just saying, it comes from a place. It doesn't come from a place of, it's not purity, it's not like chastity. It's just frustration, It has become an exclamation mark when everything falls over. It's like, go leave man to God.
Well, I think it should be about the second person that was going to give the particular answer. I think the first one that did was the PDP governorship candidate for Lagos State. Yeah, I think that was something similar to the answer he gave. Well, it's going to be interesting going forward. The media has all the power to project Sowore to the masses to lead in the future. Harrison, okay, you're throwing this responsibility back to the media. My last caller on the show today. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good to have you join us today. Your name, where are you calling from?
My name is TY. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
TY from Ikorodu. You have the floor.
So, good evening.
TY, how are you? Good evening. And, well, thank God it's Friday. So,
yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. My contribution to the program this evening is that we Nigerians, I hope that when God is going to judge this world, God, we are a bunch of hypocritical people. We are very hypocrite. We are hypocrites. We are liars. We will see the truth. We will not want to do the truth. Today we are all paying for it. There is no Hausa gari. I hope as you are going to market, you don't go to market and buy the Fulani gari or the Yoruba gari. I think we should be learning our lesson from what has been happening since 2015. Me, personally, I'm very sorry to former President Jonathan. In 2012, I brought two of my bosses then to go for Jota to go and protest. We no go agree. I'm very sorry. But I've learned my lesson since then. But up to now, some people are still bunch of liars and hypocrites. I'm very sorry.
Thank you.
Guys,
thank
have
you.
A nice day.
And you to have a very nice day. Like I said, that's going to be the last call we'll take on the show today. Our Comrade Sowore, it's been 90 minutes of deep conversation on this show.
It's amazing. It went very fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's always that way when you have conversations that are taking you around your thoughts to have second dips. And I'm going to ask you for the last time, what exactly do you think is the quick fix for us in this country? Now, you've talked about how we have to restructure, we have to reset, we have to do all of that. Do we even have the political will to do all of these things?
That's why there's no quick fix. And I'm repeating to Nigerians once again, because 4 years ago, I made this call. Some listened, some didn't, some made fun of me. And today we're back to the same reality, that only, and unless, of course, there's a revolution, this country is going nowhere. That's the truth. It's a painful painful assertion that I have to keep making all the time. And I'm not asking for armed rebellion, because we're already facing armed rebellion from all angles, from bandits, terrorists, kidnappers, armed robbers, petrol thieves. When I mean petrol thieves, I'm not talking about people who are using jerry can to steal petrol. I'm talking about the big ships and oil companies, political leaders who arm people to kill during election and to destroy. They're all up against the rest of us. There's already armed rebellion, but a succinct, very direct, focused, and very conscientious, tenacious revolution is needed. Some people call it radical reformation, but that's not what I call it, because I hate to use the word reform. We have passed the stage of reform. We have to deal with the real reality. And that adjective, or is it adverb, or is it noun, whatever it says to you, is what we need. And it will be 4 years after, by tomorrow, it will be 4 years that we called on this. And that one doesn't need an election date. And the people will be the umpire. And they will be free after it is over. And I mean it. You have a fresh day and you breathe easy. Because right now, these guys have come back even stronger. They get emboldened more and more each time they conquer. We're in a state now of state capture. They just finally captured the Nigerian state. And you can't break free without action.
Thank you very much, our Comrade Omoyele Sowore, for finding time with us on the show today. Reached out in the course of the week because I figured out this week is a very significant week for you.
It is.
Yeah.
I was arrested on a Friday.
Exactly.
4 years ago.
Exactly. So I just said I had to have you join us at the fourth anniversary of the revolution now. Of course, the fourth unfortunate one where you were picked up and you had the city arrest and all of that. So I needed to have you join us this week.
I really appreciate you inviting me, and I'm glad to be here. And we'll continue to respond to this kind of very robust conversation about the future of Nigeria. One thing I saw and I heard here today, I listen to conversations from Nigerians a lot. But for the first time, I see a preponderance of frustration and conversations that are deeper than the normal superficial conversation about. I think we are all agreed now that the time is now.
Okay, thank you so much once again for finding time. And to everyone, the calls we couldn't pick, the messages we couldn't read, I apologize. Monday, Gospel in Our Lives from 4 p.m. I will be back, and you never can guess who is going to come up next. Keep your dial locked on Milan 98.3 FM. Big shout out to everyone that made this production top-notch quality, most especially to you out there that listen. Don't forget, when you see something, you say something. Have a very good evening, and bye for now.